What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about SoFi, I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So looking forward into this week, we have a couple of big data points: GDP on Thursday, PCE on Friday. That one's going to be a very hot one. Aside from that, you do have a lot of Fed speakers that could really move the market depending on what is stated. And this is the last full week in Q1, so we do have the 31st of following Monday, but most likely tail end of this week you should start to see institutions starting to rebalance. You might see a little bit higher volume, so that's kind of a good thing, but again, it might add some extra volatility. Another thing that might influence the market this week is Trump did reiterate that April the 2nd is when all those tariffs are fully enforced. So the market, I feel, has already priced that in, but you never know. There's a lot of people that might still believe that a lot of those tariffs were just going to be quashed. So we'll just have to wait and see how that does play out. But there was one thing that just came out that might increase unnecessary tensions between Canada and the States, which could bring up more tariff talks. But Canada has issued a travel advisory to the US, saying that Canadian visitors to the US who stay more than 30 days could face fines and so forth. So yeah, I don't know where this is really coming from. Maybe this is just another scare tactic to really get those tariffs off. I'm not really sure, but nonetheless, market doesn't like this type of tension or uncertainty. So I was very optimistic about this week, but with this, anything is possible. You might have a lot of extra unnecessary volatility. So just be aware of that. Aside from that though, looking at the shorts. So shorts going into this week, 12.29% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 132.37 million shares overall are being shorted. Just generally, shorts haven't been doing all that much. I know kind of day by day, they increase 1 million there, decrease 1 million the next day. It's kind of back and forth, but even if you kind of look here, they haven't really done anything crazy. The recent high on February the 26th was 12.44, low seems to be 12.15. So it's kind of just within that range, but most likely if, let's say, Trump does come out and starts to talk about tariffs in the early part of the week prematurely, shorts might really double down based on that. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. As you can kind of see what did happen at the tail end of February, when essentially you had just like mass fear, shorts pounced all over that. So again, if there's a lot of increased fear, you could see shorts active. So just be somewhat aware of that. With it closing at $12.87, going quickly over here, that does mean that the 1250 and below strike prices are in the money. So you have 11,000 at that 1250, 14,000 at the 12. I did a video on Friday. I think it was around 76,000 overall in the money options. So you might see a little bit more of a bump up come Monday, so just be somewhat aware of that. Aside from that, looking forward into this upcoming week, the only strong wall you have roughly 8,000 at that 13, 10,000 at that 1350. And over the last week, you can tell that SoFi did bounce off of a very strong support. So essentially does want to get back into that range between that $13 and $17 range. So the fact that it did close above this, so right now with it at 1287, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So it getting above that 1272 on Friday is a very positive sign for this upcoming week. So just watch for that to hold. In my opinion, like I said, I think just SoFi really does want to get back in that $13 to $17 range. So most likely come Friday, it should be trading between this pivot and this S1. So 1359 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, followed by 15. But no new analyst ratings, nothing along those lines on the actual chart itself. So with it at $12.90 and change, it is above that ALMA, so that is sitting at $12.64. You have the 200-day moving average sitting at 1106. Aside from that, you have that 150-day moving average. Currently, they are joined together, so 1456 and 1455. So let's say SoFi does really gain some good momentum. It might bounce off of this general area, consolidate, and then hopefully retest that. That's how I see at least over the next couple of weeks playing out, unless something does dramatically come out of left field to spook the broader market, whether it be tariffs or something else. But I think all in all, SoFi has been building some pretty good traction. A lot of good articles have been coming out about Galileo, the recent updates from that, and just kind of reminding the market that, hey, SoFi is a lot better of a kind of risk versus reward than many growth stocks out there. SoFi has phenomenal growth. They have a lot of good mitigating risk factors that they've kind of started and prompted over the last, I don't know, year and a half. So if there is a little bit more of a pullback in the broader market, SoFi should do still fairly good. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know your general thoughts on SoFi. Are you bullish, bearish on this week? And throw a price prediction in the comments below. Where do you see things going? Do you think it's going to be red this week? It's going to be pushing higher to, let's say, that 14.50, 15, or 13. Like, what's your general kind of 2 cents on all that? One thing I do want to bring up, though, as I have in last couple of videos, was this. So you did have a couple 4-4s and 144s recently, and so a lot of articles are kind of portraying that as a negative. In my opinion, I'm not really overly worried about that whatsoever. I think earlier on at the beginning of 2024, when we had a lot of insider selling at that stage, it kind of did signal more of a downtrend was anticipated. But I think given the circumstances, blackout period concluding, if they really wanted to sell, they would have sold like a month ago. So that's just my viewpoint. Let me know your general thoughts on SoFi. Do you think that SoFi is going to ever have a short squeeze? I've seen randomly over this weekend a lot of individuals talking about SoFi being a squeeze. I don't see it being possible. You never know. Anything's a possibility, but I think you need a very, very good catalyst in order for SoFi to really move higher. But I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully everyone had an amazing weekend. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing, pop over to my Discord, completely free. A lot of good people, a lot of good chat, talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you ever need in life. So with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.